6-year NFL veteran, BYU defensive back great, and a friend of BYU Sports Nation, Derwin Gray, joins us on the Deseret First Credit Union Hotline. Derwin, always a pleasure to have you back on the show.
Hey, thanks for having me. I always enjoy being with you guys.
We'll start with today's Twitter question, and you can take this any direction you like. What was Lavelle Edwards' greatest victory as a coach?
Yeah, I actually I follow you guys on Twitter, so I actually tweeted something myself, and I said Coach Edwards' greatest victory was how he touched the lives of his players. The older you get, the more you see that life isn't so much about accomplishing things, and winning games are important, but it's the fabric of the relationships in which you do those things with. And I, along with a bunch of other men now, would not be the people we are had we not been under the influence and leadership of Coach Edwards. And, my 4 years at BYU, I won close to 40 games. A teammate won a Heisman Trophy. We were ranked as high as number 4. And so I know a lot about winning, but I learned a lot about life from Coach Edwards. And at the end of the day, when you're younger, you tend to think that winning's the most important thing. And winning has its place. I love to win. But how you win and the person you become in the midst of winning and losing is so much bigger than trophies or championship rings, though Coach Edwards did win a national championship, but his influence undoubtedly is upon the lives of the young men who some of us now are much older men he imprinted us with.
Because he meant so much to you, what was your reaction when you heard the news of your great coach passing away?
I was stunned. My sister-in-law came downstairs and she said, I just got a notification that Coach Edwards died. And it was like time just stopped. And, I kind of had to catch my breath, and I kind of had to really gather myself. And then all these memories of relationships began to flood my mind. On senior day, 1992, you get a blanket like after the game, and for some reason I was the very last senior, and so I got a picture of Coach Edwards and I having this long embrace, and it just means the world to me that I got to play for not only a great, innovative coach who ushered in the modern passing game, but a great man. I remember the conversations we would have before games, conversations in the off seasons, conversations when I got in trouble as a freshman, a knucklehead, and his guidance and wisdom and leadership. And I remember the first time I met him. He came to my high school in Texas, and he was in my head coach's office, and I just remember sitting down like, this is the guy I see on ESPN with the grumpy face, but he's not very grumpy. He's actually very funny. And so after I met him, I was like, yeah, I'm definitely going to BYU.
Derwin Gray is with us on the Deseret First Credit Union Hotline, reminiscing about his former coach, Lavelle Edwards. Why did you ultimately say yes to him when he recruited you, Derwin, coming out of Texas?
Well, he was the only head coach that I met. And then when I went on my recruiting trip to BYU, it was unlike the other school that I went to on a recruiting trip. And I seen the guys had real majors they were majoring in. Pro Bowl was just beautiful. And I knew that I was going to be playing for a great coach. I knew I'd get a great education. And I knew that I would have an opportunity to play early. But I think the personability of Coach Edwards is what really, really moved me. And, you oftentimes you interact more with your position coach. Like I interacted more with Coach Felt and Tom Homo when he coached. But at the end of the day, Coach Edwards, like that was my coach. Whenever I needed to talk, when my wife and I were thinking about getting married, he was someone that we asked advice from. And what a lot of people don't know is Coach Edwards and his lovely wife, Patty, has sent my wife and I Christmas cards since I left BYU in 1993. We just got their latest one.
Amazing.
What do you want your family, your posterity, or people that come up to you and say, "Hey, you played for Lavelle Edwards. What was he like?" What do you want them to know about your coach?
Well, the first thing that I would say is that there's no question that there's a reason why he's a Hall of Fame coach. That I was prepared for the NFL because of the offenses I've seen every day with Coach Edwards and Norm Chow, like the West Coast offense we did at BYU. I was prepared for an advanced NFL defense because of what I learned. But I think what people have got to understand about Coach Edwards, though he was a master of X's and O's, his coaching ability was only surpassed by his ability to love people and understand them. And he made every player feel as though his special words to them was the only ones that got those special words. He had an ability to look into a person and tell them who they could be. He had an ability to coach an entire team, yet he was your coach. And that's a gift. Not everybody has that type of a gift. You have some people who are great with X's and O's, but are terrible with people. You got some people who are great with people, but terrible with X's and O's. But Coach Edwards was a combination of both, is that he was able to not only give you the X's and O's, but I think his enduring legacy he was a great lover of people, and he understood how to reach people and pull the best out of them, not just on the field, but on the field of life.
Derwin, it's been fantastic to talk to you, and you never let us down, man. We're always encouraged and certainly uplifted when we talk to you, and that today is no different.
Well, thank you. And for the young listeners that are listening that may not have gotten to experience him, we need more people like Coach. Coaching the game at the end of the day is pretty easy, but being able to love people is the real challenge, and he did that in a remarkable way. And I'm very thankful.
We're thankful for your words as well, Derwin. God bless, and we'll talk to you again soon.
All right, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.